welcome to Talkative with Ahmed. My guest today, as we all hear this phrase, an American girl in Paris, but before that, she was also lost in translation in Tokyo, but she found home in Tokyo. And after all these travels and destinations, she now lives between Sheikh Zayed Road and Satwa, calling Dubai her home. Her spirituality goes beyond anything I have witnessed. I love her so much. She is a great friend of mine. I admire her and I respect her journey. But if we go back in time, she's also a real American girl. She's from Nashville, Tennessee. Enough about me. Welcome, Tiffany, Larnicol, in Talkative with Ahmed.
Thank you so much. Oh, what a beautiful introduction. Thank you.
There's so many things I can say about you, but a small intro would take much of the time interview. But I want everyone to know Tiffany as much as I know her, and probably I will know more things, because every time I meet you, I know more things, more exciting things. We've met through your partner,
Yes.
your husband.
Yes, we did.
And I'm so grateful for him.
Yes.
And we right away clicked. We clicked in so many ways that some ways, probably the world is not enough for it in this room. But
It's never enough.
I don't know where to start, right? But let's start with, who is Tiffany from Nashville, Tennessee?
Wow. That's a loaded question. Who is Tiffany from Nashville? Well, I think you have to start with the fact that I am from the South in the U.S., and I was fortunate enough, lucky enough to be raised in Nashville, which is this little Hollywood, as we say, or
Dollywood.
Hollywood.
It's Dollywood
well,
as
it's
well.
Dollywood here.
But for those who knows, if you tell me about Nashville, Tennessee, first of all, your fantastic accent, but also I would think
Thank
of
you.
Taylor Swift.
Yes. Now, she came much later. I grew up in the old Nashville, which was Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Dolly Parton. So, yes, I grew up in a very artistic, warm, supportive entertainment atmosphere. And it was amazing. Actually, right next to the house that I grew up in was a music producer who had 4 kids. And I would go to their house between the ages of 12 and 14 almost every day after school.
Nice.
And so I grew up with musicians walking in and out, very natural, and grew up in a very strong religious home. And had this stable, beautiful life up until I was 18. And then my parents told me I had to go to university. I had other ideas.
For university? But if like, when someone think about growing up in a very Christian, Southern
Yes.
Christian family, I wouldn't imagine so much freedom in creativity. Is that a wrong impression?
No, you're right. I think that's why I was going to the neighbor's house so much. They were also Christian, by the way, and
It's not a bad thing.
it's
But
not a bad thing. And this is actually it's interesting because it's a very unique atmosphere that I grew up in. Actually, at that time is when Christian contemporary music became extremely popular in the U.S. And the father that was the writer and producer was working with some of the biggest acts at the time. So I was in a creative environment, but it was safe.
yeah, I think the word safe is good.
And that's very important.
Yeah.
And a safe environment. And so I had a seed planted at a very young age to be curious. And then at that time in Nashville, it's changed, but at that time in Nashville, all of these stars acted like normal people. So they were going to the grocery store that we went to. All of them had kids around my age. So we all grew up together around the same age. We knew of each other. Tammy Wynette lived very close to
Amazing.
us. Yes. So a really unique, beautiful place to grow up.
Have you
Yeah.
joined someone from, I can imagine, Nashville, Tennessee? Have you joined the choir in a church?
Oh, well,
Because it's part of,
actually, my church was so strict, they didn't even allow music in church.
oh, wow.
Yes, because they said it wasn't mentioned in the Bible specifically that you could
The
have music
gospel
in
and-
church, right? So I did sing in the choir in school, and of course we sang in church, but not with musical instruments. That's how strict it was.
And
yes.
did you feel that you were not free?
Yes.
Yeah?
I did feel, I think as time went on, I wanted to experience more. But of course, I was also, my faith was important to me. It was important to my family. Both sides of my family had been in the same faith, very strong. And so I was also wanting to respect my parents and respect the people around me. So there came a time where there was a little bit of questioning. I would say I don't want to say a rebellion because it didn't become that. I would say I did it in baby steps of figuring out.
Safe, as you said? Safe
Yes.
in a safe place?
Well, yes, but what happened was as I went literally from being in Tennessee to when I decided to go back to modeling, I started when I was a teenager. You want to ask a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Before we go to modeling, right? Because I think it's a core word, and I want you to take me through it as you have lived it and remember it. I think it's going to be something very emotional. When did you start modeling? Which age?
Well, I did a little bit actually as a child, and then I started really getting interested in it when I was around 16. So I started modeling in Nashville. At that time, there were shootings within the city. So there were studios with the department stores and different clients, and it was easy for me to work. It's not like that anymore. Now you have to go outside of the city. It's strange. It's sort of flipped. It's odd. So I started as a teenager. Actually, many times I got out of school, and
And were you like a famous
oh
face
no,
in Nashville?
the word famous. I
'Cause
think is stretching it.
Because I remember these up until before social media,
Yeah.
if your picture were even on a used paper in black and white is a success. Right?
It's kind of true.
We were like, so imagine if your picture was in a mall or a department stores or local magazine and a newspaper in a place like Nashville. But Nashville is always also they call it a small Hollywood, right?
It's a small Hollywood, but
Of
we
a
also,
real American Hollywood,
yeah,
right?
but we also call it a small a small big town.
Yeah.
So yeah, in a way, I was a little bit known. I mean, I wouldn't put myself in the category of famous compared to the country music acts that were there, but yes, it was easy.
People knew who you were.
And yes, a little
That's
bit.
nice.
And,
You're modest, but I mean,
but this was also the time when Fame came out on television.
oh wow,
So I was obsessed with going to New York, and
like everyone else, I think at that time. Right?
yes,
Like if you want to You want to act, go
make
to
it
Hollywood if you want to.
right.
Yeah.
And I had been a dancer and I'd done a little bit of acting, and I didn't really know in what capacity I would be in the entertainment world. But I knew I would do it in some way eventually.
Yeah.
That was my calling, and I did a little bit of everything, but as I said, my parents really wanted me to have a stable life. So they said, you have to go to university,
Which you were in.
which I went, and I did 4 years.
What did you study?
I studied television.
Really?
I studied television. I studied
Oh, wow.
journalism.
I never asked you about this.
Yeah, I did. And actually, I even worked a little bit while I was in university at the local, the university television station. So I had on-air experience being a weather girl and being an anchor.
Nice. Which a weather girl is a big thing in America, right?
Yeah,
Also in
it
Latin
is.
America as well, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Weather
it's-
girl in America and Latin America is something very big, right?
Yeah, and in Italy also.
And
It's
in
a big
Italy
deal.
as well, yeah.
So again, I didn't know what form this was all going to come out in,
Yeah.
but I kept on just trying different things.
And which university was this?
So I was in Arkansas,
Wow, that's
actually.
hardcore, also America.
Yes, and I was there during the Clinton years when Clinton was governor.
It's incredible.
Yes, and I met him.
Talkative with Ahmed, this new season is in partnership with a creative production house. Please visit our cast, or if you want to know more, just look at this little tiny break. Welcome back with Talkative with Ahmed and my partners and actually creative family at Arcast. And Arcast is not becoming not only my, where I film the studio with amazing guests, but I became not a guest, but part of the family. Now, if you want to direct or you have a beautiful video and someone bring your creativity and crazy imaginations to life, you need the right creatives. Many people would say, I'm a director, I'm an editor, I'm a great, blah, 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 blah. Yes, there are. But let me tell you what my Arcast family can't. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. You can listen to my Talkative with Ahmed. I am here with Moin.
Yes.
Tell me about you, what you do at Arcast.
I am the head of production, everything including post-production, production, pre-production is in my head.
I can imagine.
I am responsible for the quality. I'm responsible for quality of the video, audio, everything included about the quality of the result of the video.
Amazing. And do you help, because I know your videos,
Yes.
and people would see by themselves, right?
Yeah.
They will be the judge of that. But do you help new emerging podcasters or production houses or companies to really look good as well?
Yes.
Not look good only physically,
Yes.
although that counts.
Yes.
But how do you help companies and individuals to take that step? Many would say, oh yeah, we want to do podcasts, but we don't know how to start. They don't have the personality for it, the voice for it. Is that part of your production?
Yes. Actually, we cover every step of the creating podcast, not only podcast. It can be, talking head or promoting on social medias, short form, long form, doesn't matter. So also we can help people to start. For example, if you have a topic, if you have expertise on something, but you don't know how to start, we can guide you. We can have a discussion. We can have discussion, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can have a discussion and to understand what's your goal, what is your main point, and we can guide you on this journey.
That's fantastic.
To start. Yeah.
Now to start,
Yeah.
you have a fantastic loft, really a loft.
Yeah.
By the way, you can live here, or it's really nice.
Actually, you can, because also we have shower.
I know, I saw the shower,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So who's other than you and the team? Like I see here,
yeah, we have-
every time I see someone sitting in a corner with a headset, it's either they play video games or they do editing.
Editing,
We
yes.
can speak.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's funny because you told me a bit about this story, and poor thing. I mean, when someone says Bill Clinton, I think that was. I'm very sorry for Hillary, but we right away think of Bill Clinton and an encounter, right? But that was
Yeah.
before the encounter, right? But I
That
mean,
was
how
before.
is he as a he was a motivational person as
You
well.
know, we would hear things about him, and the year that I met him was the year he was announcing his run for president.
Oh wow.
And actually, I was working during lunchtime in the vice president of student affairs office, and I came in one day and they said, you know, he's coming in the office today, so we're going to put you in this back room, which was a copy room, because he had a reputation of.
Oh wow. So that was already there.
Oh, yes.
Oh
Oh, this goes way
wow.
back.
Oh
Yes,
wow.
yes. And so they put me back in the copy room, but the door was open just a little bit. And, you know, he doesn't miss a beat,
Incredible.
you know, and he came into the office and he walked down that hall, and I was minding my business. I didn't want to get in
At the copy room.
trouble. Yeah, the copy room. And
Which, you know, it's a small closed room, so
well, luckily his aide or his manager, I don't know what you would call him, his aide, I suppose, was with him, and he saw me through that crack, and he opened the door, and the copier was at the back corner, and I was back against the wall, and he came straight in towards me. He made a beeline towards me. And exactly what you hear from everyone, he had this charismatic
yeah,
energy.
incredible.
And he stuck out his hand and he said, "Hi, I'm Bill Clinton." And of course, I was nervous. I think I was 19 at the
Oh wow.
time. Yeah. And so his aide said, "Okay, come on, we need to go meet with the vice president of the university." And he said, "No, I want to stay in here and talk to her." But
Wow.
luckily,
That's
that was
incredible. I
that
mean,
was all it was.
I mean, this is you at 19. I mean, it's incredible. But
Yeah.
of course, that you didn't think of anything more than the
No.
moment itself, right?
No, and I was very naive also.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, being raised in such a
Safe
safe and
trustworthy.
yes, and you know, I went to a Christian university also, so I was in a little bit of a bubble. And that semester, I had changed schools because my boyfriend was at a different school. He had graduated, and he was actually in journalism, and so that was why I met him.
Incredible.
But it was incredible because regardless of anything that you hear about him, I have to say his energy and his intellect, he was one of my favorite presidents. I don't want to get too political, but I remember when the night of his inauguration,
Yeah.
and I remember dancing around the room to Fleetwood Mac that he was dancing with, to Hillary, and I remember feeling a lot of hope. I was young, you know, I think that was the first election I voted in.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was the first election, and just feeling a lot of hope,
Yeah.
being young and for the country. Yeah.
When you say your first election and then hope and an American president, does it have as much depth as I hear it from you nowadays, without being too political? But I feel like I can imagine if I was American and I was raised in America, and in that era there's some innocence and
Yes.
a lot of hope, and that would made America, you know, the American dream. And then today you're sitting here in front of me, you live in Dubai,
And living in the Middle East.
living in the Middle East, and
An American in the Middle East.
an American in the Middle East, you're far, like,
Far
you know,
from home.
far from home, far from the American girl in Paris, and
Yeah.
lost in translation in Tokyo, while the world became, you know, literally your oyster, and home seems
Very far away.
Yeah.
You know, I just returned after 3 years of being away, which is the longest I've ever been away. I lost my mother 3 years ago.
very sorry for your loss.
Yeah, thank you. So the only reason why I had not been back was because it was just too painful to go back. She was a very important figure in my life. And as we all know, I mean, we say don't become political, but it's hard to not be political these days because there's so much going on everywhere.
Yeah.
So I went back after 3 years, and it's different. It's different, and it's changed. And that was the last time, that time that I'm speaking about, that maybe, and it maybe have to do with my age too.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask, maybe you also have changed.
I think at the end of the day, I'm still a girl from Tennessee.
That's wonderful.
I think my core values, and I can really say that now at age 55.
Because you maybe also, you're convinced about what you say.
Well, and I've lived so many places, and when you live around the world, and then I come this far to living now in the Middle East, which I never dreamed of. But I have to say, going back to hope and change, I feel it here.
Yeah.
And I see it, and I can feel it. And sometimes I don't even know if they realize how much is happening, because I come from a country that's been through this, and my husband is European, so I have that background of living in Europe, living in Asia. And I just feel so fortunate to be here. In a safe place, but yet exciting.
It's nice. We talked a lot about safe, because I think it's also me and you. We always talk about this. A safe place is very important.
Yeah,
That safe place could be just a corner somewhere with the right,
absolutely,
with the right mindset and the right people. Because
the right
I think
people.
we feel safe as well. If you don't feel safe, you can be
Nothing
the safest place,
matters.
and then nothing matters.
Nothing matters, really.
Probably, it was. You didn't feel safe when you started modeling, right? Back in the days when modeling was... Tell me about modeling back in the days. I mean, when you were a student in Arkansas, you continued modeling?
No, but it was on my mind. And I did get called home after I'd been there just a few months to come home for a shoot with the first photographer that I ever worked with, which I worked with him. I think he was 23 when we worked together, and he ended up becoming probably the most famous photographer for country music artists.
Wow.
And still is. We're still in touch. So he was 23 and I was maybe 17
That's
when
incredible.
we first shot together. And I came home, and then I decided, I think I want to do some pictures. So I did some pictures with him. It was always kind of churning. But I thought, no, I should really try to be sensible and get a job in television. But what happened was, at the end of the 4 years, when everyone starts to graduate and starts to go get jobs, I started finding out what the salaries were.
Of course.
And two things hit me was, this is not much money for a lot of work, and I'm still young, and I want to travel.
Good.
So it wasn't modeling itself.
Was what modeling would entitle you.
It was that it was going to give me freedom to go travel. And so I started in the U.S. I was working for a few years, and then my agency, I'd been hearing about Japan. A lot of people don't know what a market Japan was.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Up until a few years back, like before COVID, Japan was still a big taboo. Like, you have an adventure soul to go to Japan.
Yeah.
It seems so far.
Yeah.
And I know back in the 80s and 90s and 2000, even Japan for the Japanese was also a bit, was a country that's opening up, but opening up on a political playground, technology,
Oh, yeah.
fashion and arts, but it was still... And I that I lived in France, and I remember the French were one of the first Europeans who really invaded culturally Japan in a way that they work together. They understand They understood what the
Very
Japanese wait, especially for luxury and culinary and art, and then of course fashion followed with.
Yep.
I remember the extreme fashion photo shoots when it's in Japan. It's something
Oh, yeah.
unbelievable, right?
Oh,
But
it's
for everyone, if you ask everyone, they will tell you Japan is, I don't know, the taboo, the culture, the subculture. And you were
Yeah.
there in
I
the
was
midst of
there.
this.
Well, I was not only was I there, my first trip there, you know, I wanted to get to Tokyo, but there's actually were two markets in Japan, Tokyo and Osaka. So Osaka is a smaller market, but actually what a lot of people don't know is Osaka was a real business hub, and so many companies were headquartered there. So at the time I was a little disappointed that I got taken to Osaka first, but now I look back on it and realize I was taken to the most authentic
Yeah.
part of Japan. You know, they just had Expo.
Yes.
I think it's wrapping up in Osaka right now. And I've seen the pictures, and it's completely different from
From what you
when I was
Yeah,
there,
I can
you
imagine
know?
because I can see there was a very more modernized because what people don't know is that I always wanted to go to Japan,
Yes.
and since I've met you, we I think
Well, now we want to move there.
we just want to move there, and everything you say is like you listen to us and you always say, yeah, it's true, it's like this, and you give us little very soft and romantic as you are. But
thank
and I remember when we landed in Japan, we sent you a message, and we were like just two Labradors in a dog park. It was like, oh my god, I can see you everywhere. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's and I remember that I heard the voice message again, and it was crazy. Like I can imagine when you heard, but I
Oh, it
feel
just
that
made me so happy.
it was, and you. I think it all came together very well also in our relationship. And this year I went to Japan twice, right?
I know.
So, and Osaka it looked to me as a city that's always innovating. Like Tokyo was a bit more, everything is perfect,
Yeah.
right? And everything is it's Osaka. There was more human chaos.
You know,
I don't know. You tell me.
there's a joke in Japan about the difference between Osaka and Tokyo people. And Osaka people are really animated, and Tokyo people have always been known to be very avant-garde and modern and serious. But Osaka people are more a little bit, also it's south.
Yes.
So more
South
southern.
is always exactly. It's not the same South in France and Italy and Spain
Right.
and maybe here,
But
it's got
it's
a bit
got
of
a little
that.
spark,
Yeah, it's got that
and
street life and
yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's got a fashion culture there that's very creative and innovative and really comes from the kids on the street.
yeah.
And so, when I wasn't working, I spent so much time just walking there and exploring, and again, being in a safe environment because Japan is so safe. It was the ultimate. It was the best place I could have landed.
And
It-
and
for
I
me.
think for you because
Yeah,
right
for me.
it could have been also rough around the edges and could be dark for some people, right?
Well,
How did you you are from the South,
yep.
right? And so I can imagine your personality is always so vivid, and it's like a sun, right? You're warm, but also you can burn with your beauty. You're spring for me.
Oh, thank
And so
you.
going to Japan these days, which it was, who embraced who?
I always say Japan chose me because I didn't seek this out. It found me. And this is why I really feel it was destined. And I remember the first time that I landed there, even the minute I walked off the plane and I walked out, I just had this feeling of I'm home. And I know that
Incredible.
sounds dramatic. I know that sounds out there, but there was, even though it was so far away and so different, there was something also extremely familiar.
Hmm.
And it's very hard to describe unless you've experienced
Yeah.
this feeling. And there are actually similarities between my culture and Japan.
Which is something unbelievable to even imagine, to be honest.
And that's one reason why it worked. I was raised with a great work ethic.
I was about to say discipline.
Japanese have an amazing work ethic. A little bit, I don't want it to sound negative, but it is the generation I was raised in and my mother's generation. I don't want... We viewed men as they were the head, and whatever the rules were, we followed the rules.
It's also was a
it's a generational thing with
thing.
Grace, of course, and I did learn how to use humor at times when I would want to work with them, and they really appreciated that about me. I was very respectful. These are all things that my parents instilled in me.
Nice.
And so it was a good match. It was like puzzle pieces coming together.
That's nice. And what kind of modeling projects you did in Japan? Because you lived then, you went to Japan, and then you went back, or before Japan you went to Europe?
No, so I went to Japan the first trip. Then I came back home. Then I went to Europe, which was a disaster.
So tell me about this, because a gorgeous American model that she goes to Japan. I feel that when you go back to Europe, you're as exciting and you use the word you said in that period, which is I assume
Heroin chic.
What is heroin chic? Who is it? Like a model? Can you give me an example?
It was that time in photography when you were seeing a lot of that grungy, dark circles.
So the grunge phase.
It was almost a drug look. It was
also Kate Moss.
Yes, yeah, but it was that.
What is that time?
Emaciated.
Yeah.
That's not my face.
Yeah.
I had this, clean, smiling, sort of pure face that Japanese love.
Yes.
They love this with a hint of being able to look a slight bit Eurasian.
Almost like the perfect, maybe for them was almost the perfect Japanese, the Japanese foreign.
Yes, and also my measurements, technically, my measurements were exactly what they wanted for their clothes. I was, at the time, I was built very extremely thin, sort of straight up and down. And everything, sort of all the boxes ticked.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I actually was wanting to be in Europe, and my agent and I kept on doing test after test after test, trying desperately. I mean, I have one comp card. Usually your comp card is just front and back, and we did one that was a fold out that was front and back, and then the inside with all these pictures. That's how much I was trying to get to Europe, because what do we all think? We all think of Paris and Milan
and London and
and London, and it was not working. And Japan kept calling me back.
And did that give you even more respect and willing to give it all in Japan? Because you ended up living in Japan for almost 10 years.
Well, let me tell you something. Go to Europe as a young model and have a disastrous trip.
Yeah.
And go on casting after casting after casting.
Exhausting as well.
Yes. And at that time, we carried our book, which was this big.
And you have to run
heavy.
For your book, right?
Yeah.
Because I will go back to modeling was a real hustle.
Oh,
today
it was,
modeling, they're just in a coffee shop and they're getting scouted in coffee shops. Like I've seen today with the social media, right?
Totally different.
It's first of all, many correct me if I'm wrong, of course. This culture of a book almost doesn't exist anymore,
No,
because
it
some
doesn't
models, whether
exist.
scouted in the mall or not, when there's social media on a podcast or something like this.
It's completely different. I'm not even comfortable with calling what is happening now modeling.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's almost like I was in the dinosaur years. I mean, to the point that when I started, we shot on film. We shot on film, and you had to know how to work with lighting.
Yeah.
And there was there were no touch-ups.
And there was no digital.
There was no
Digital helped a lot with the lights, right? I mean,
remember-
literally, we can change this light now into 60s light and on
Anything. You can do anything now. And I remember the first time a Japanese client shot on digital, and it was maybe 2000. I don't know, somewhere
You're
around
still
then.
modeling.
Yeah.
in 2000.
Oh, of course. Yes. I was
Wow.
modeling until I was 41
Wow.
there, which is unheard of. No one ever works that long there. And I remember the first time we shot on digital, and we were kind of thinking, what is this all about? And now, I'm going to really age myself now. Now, when I see what's done, I'm a little bit like, anyone can do this.
Yeah.
Because everything is fake
No, I understand.
now.
I understand.
And nothing against influencers. They have their own
Of course.
market. They have their own thing. I respect many influencers that do beautiful things. But they're two different.
It's absolutely, it has
entities.
nothing, but I totally agree with you. I mean, today now we're doing this interview, and that will be on YouTube and Instagram. And of course, I think if someone is watching from the golden era of TV, I said, oh my God, to have this setup and meet someone and being filmed, you have to work on a network, on a TV. And it was
Yeah.
a job for 5 people out of million.
Yeah.
Today, everyone can actually,
Yeah.
make interviews and beautiful videos. And so I totally understand where you come
Yeah.
from. And when you lived in Japan, then you traveled around and you worked all around Asia. Right?
No, not exactly, because the best market was in Tokyo. Now, there was a market in Hong Kong. There was a market actually in Taipei, which is where Coco Rocha started. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I saw, because you posted about Coco Rocha. I think
Yes.
she's humble, and I like her. And
Oh,
and she has
love
something,
her.
right?
And I identify so much with her because she was raised Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
also from a very strict religious background, and which actually in the beginning of her career kept her from doing a lot of shoots.
Can
To
imagine.
and her agent respected that, which is wonderful. I had a wonderful agent too, but it was the market was Tokyo had been around, was the oldest market, the most established. So you have New York, Paris, Milan, London, and Tokyo.
Yeah. And
And
Tokyo came a bit
came a little bit later,
and on a different
in a different
also
way.
take.
Yes, but when it happened in the 80s, in the bubble in the 80s,
80s.
it really
Yeah.
happened. I
In
mean,
art and fashion and everything.
in every
everything.
way. And that's when Japanese designers started going to Paris
Yeah.
and
Like,
even started moving there.
Comme des Garçons,
Issey and-
Miyake,
Yes,
Yuji Yamamoto
Yoji
Dopo.
Yamamoto, yes, and were huge, still huge.
Yeah,
I
still
mean,
huge.
still respected.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people don't know the story behind Japan, but in the 80s, Japan was booming so much. And if you think about what they created during the 80s, the Walkman, all the technology with Sony and phones and TVs, and they would pay anything to bring foreign girls in because they were trying to emulate in the advertising and the TV commercials the Western life with their technology.
Yeah.
So there's some girls, they're retired off what they made in the
Incredible.
80s there. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
And
And you were in the midst of this, right? Also?
well, I came a little bit later on
Just a little bit later.
a
maybe.
little bit later, but I was
You
fortunate
felt the
enough
energy.
to oh yes. And I was fortunate enough to still have a great career there and a long-term career with ended up having long-term clients, which is what you aim for in modeling. What a lot of people don't know is a lot of models maybe only have 2 years
Yeah.
career.
Yeah. I've
But
heard about this. So this
yeah,
is so you're very smart then.
I don't know if
Because
I don't know if that was
I think
smart.
longevity in modeling means you take the right decisions, or you know your clientele.
Well, it was for about 2 years. It was testing out a lot, and then I finally had to accept I am not meant to be a high fashion model in Paris, and I am meant to be a catalog model in Japan. And
It takes certain maturity, right?
it does.
Because modeling back then, I mean, because you don't have also today, you can be model of anything and everything, and everyone will embrace it.
Right. But then, it was either you're in this market or you're in this market. That's it. And, I had to put my ego aside, which is not easy
No.
when you're in your 20s.
And you work
And
in
you
visual,
have this idea.
but also you work in visual and art and fashion. So ego is all over the place. It's like the air you breathe.
Yeah, but that's the fortunate part about ending up in Japan. There was less ego. And, now we have so many stories that are coming out from Europe about girls that had so many unfortunate experiences.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I was divinely guided.
Incredible. I really wanted to say this because if you ask anyone about modeling, what do you think of I'm sure most of the people would tell you, oh, there is a dark side.
Of course.
Right.
Well, there is.
There is.
There
but
was.
But you seem that now you said something very nice. You were guided divinely, you said?
Yes.
It's nice.
I didn't see it at the
it's sweet,
time.
but I mean, there you are today. I can't imagine you've been into the dark hole of modeling and
No, they would have thrown me out.
in Japan.
I wouldn't have. It wouldn't have clicked. I was so innocent, and I was so kind of pure. And
But that could lead also to wrong decisions, no?
yes, I think also is my upbringing, and it's just my personality. Now, I'm not trying to say that I'm better than anyone else, but we are who we are, and we attract what we are. And it was a real test in my 20s, which we all go through these tests in our 20s of learning where you're supposed to be, where are you comfortable, where do you thrive, where can you give, where do you learn. And once I accepted that, then it became like magic.
You're very spiritual, Tiffany. And every time I speak with you, I feel good.
Oh,
It's almost
thank
if you can be like a what do you call them? A spiritual leader or something.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
But
We all have our dark side.
yeah, thankfully,
Yes.
because I think spirituality is also about questioning, right? So when
Of
you
course it
question, you
is.
always go somewhere
Of course.
in your mind. So you have, from this Christian upbringing in Nashville, Tennessee, and then Europe, which was, when you went back in Europe was this place of, I know it very well, that is different kind of spirituality. I don't think Europe is spiritual. I think Europe is all about, openness to new ideas and the different facades of human. And because the last 100 years, Europe was quite the open place, right? Not going
Right.
too deep. And then you go to Japan, where there is a completely different spirituality.
Yes.
There is more spirituality on a daily basis. All this, integrity and work ethics and everything. And then you come to Dubai, where spirituality has a completely different language.
Yes.
But you are so... you kept that harmony also in Dubai. which is
Yeah.
something incredible, really incredible,
Oh.
because I know how honest you are. And many Westerners, when I meet them here, they always say, we still struggle about who we are from a spiritual point of view when we moved here. They love it, it's safe, they have an opportunity, but you actually found also a safe haven here.
Yes, and I think
I don't know if it's right or wrong.
no,
but
it is right, and I think it's because I actually made a conscious decision a long time ago when I was given the opportunity to leave and to travel. I had such a curiosity about other parts of the world and belief systems and religions that when I was given the chance to go to Europe, spend time in Japan, go to Southeast Asia, go to China, the first thing I did was I would want to find out about their religion, their belief system.
Yeah.
So whenever I move to a place, I try my best as a human to not make a judgment about it.
which is very difficult sometimes.
It's very difficult, especially these days, because we're inundated with
Yeah.
opinions.
And also because you travel, and every time you travel, you already do your homework about a place, and you, as a human, you already have a judgment a bit. And many places now we go and we say, oh my God, it's completely not what I thought or saw on social media.
But this is interesting. I think what actually worked for me was I did not do any homework before.
Good.
So from the first time before I went to Japan, I didn't know anything
It was
about
difficult
Japan.
as well, yeah.
So yeah, there was no social media. There was nothing. I mean, you could go and
Just
buy
a long
book.
trip, right?
It's just
And-
a really
and-
long trip.
And you have guides and the library and maybe fashion magazines on a rack.
But not even that.
Not even that.
But in Tennessee, I didn't even have that.
Yeah.
And
Wow. Can you imagine how you felt, honestly?
yeah, so I think that worked to my advantage. Everyone's different, but I think that worked to my advantage of actually not trying to form an opinion before and taking things as they come. And that's what I did coming to the Middle East. I knew nothing about Islam.
Incredible.
And, I'm American, and there's a rough history with the wars that have happened in the Middle East with America. There's also positivity of business that's always been done with the
Yeah.
U.S. too. So it's a mixed bag,
Yeah.
and I'm honest. I try to be as honest about my country and other countries as I can. So I really didn't know what it was going to be like here at all. And I actually wandered into Kinokuniya one day, a fabulous Japanese bookstore that Dubai is so fortunate to have. And one day I decided to wander into the section on Islam. And I looked up and I saw a book, and it's called The Islamic Jesus.
Wow.
And it took me back, and I read this book, and it was from that moment on that opened, I would say, the portal to be opening my heart to what is Islam?
Yeah.
What is it really about?
Yeah.
What, not from what maybe the way Americans are shown on television or in the media. And I found so many beautiful things about Islam.
Beautifully written.
Yes, it's beautifully written, very poetic, beautiful language, gorgeous. And of course, when you live here 5 times a day, you hear the call to prayer. And for me, every time I hear the call to prayer, in that moment, although I'm not Muslim, that moment I stop.
Irfan, it's our editor, very young genius from Iran. He's 19 years old. He's very good editing, because we choose him among 200 people. We have 200.
By the way, I've heard that. Really, 200 people, and you got it.
Yes.
You're the magician, basically,
Yes,
right?
actually, when I saw his videos first time, I thought maybe he will not going to work with us. Really, I thought that his level is very high.
From the production manager, what do you want more? It's amazing. But a question, really, now. Do you see some videos sometimes and you say, oh God, I can't do anything with that? Really, honestly. I'm not going to say names, but you know. Not me, but you know.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Do you think there are some people you say, oh, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. But do you? How long does it take for you to finish and edit an hour video, a really good hour video?
Just a podcast?
Yeah.
Just an hour.
My God.
Yeah,
So it takes you less than filming the podcast.
Yeah, because like we use AI tools also.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's right now a lot of AIs that helps you to reach your goals faster.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Irfan.
Thank you.
We'll get you. I know you want to go into the zone now. Thanks a lot.
Have a good day.
And so, and how many studios do we have? So, how many options we have? I know.
Actually, a lot, but we have only 2 rooms. But we can arrange inside this room a lot of things. Just tell us what you want.
Can we see?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go. We
I
have.
love this. But you know, people maybe they don't know. But
Yeah.
you have also this
Yeah.
has different colors. You have the green.
Yeah, we have
the
different
gray,
colors.
and then you have this beautiful.
Also, we
wood.
have pink one.
Oh yeah, the pink one's nice.
Yeah. You can use pick one.
cute
It
is that?
depends on your need, as I said.
It's very nice. Very nice.
Also, we have this background. You can, depending on your needs,
Yeah.
we can arrange anything.
And how many, like the maximum guest I can have? So, for example, I'm filming my podcast and I'm interviewing how many people?
For now, it's 4, I guess, because
in total.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. We already handled 4 people inside the studio, but we can do it outside more if you want.
See, this is my question. Arcast is not only a podcast
Yeah.
studio, right?
Yeah.
You all come. We had this discussion that you all come from a media
Yeah.
and production
Yes.
background. So
Yes.
Arcast is just. This is what I love actually because you have more of a. I think you always think wider than just the room of the studio.
Yeah.
I know many companies, many also individuals, they want to film not complete interviews, but like almost like short films, attractive reels and stuff. Do you also offer this service like outside the studio?
For sure. I think I got this thought right now. The good maybe thing, we collaborated with Alex. He's a founder. In this 2 cool things matched.
Yeah.
He is very cool businessman, and I'm creative person.
Amazing.
And we matched very good in this area. I don't know how to call it.
It shows.
Yeah.
There is a synergy.
He
By
is good at business. He is very smart and in the structure, in the vision, and I'm just adding the creativity in this way, in this with the whole team.
Of course, but if everyone has their own, good counter. Actually, we also have someone behind the camera, which is really,
Salam
really.
alaikum.
Salam alaikum. He's very, very creative as well.
Yeah, we'll film him too.
We'll film him. We'll film him next time. Amazing. Do you have another studio?
Yeah.
we can
It's
see?
upstairs. We can go upstairs.
Good coffee as well. Oh, by the way, this is something very important. Good coffee and a parking. 2 things you don't find everywhere in Dubai.
Yeah.
Which
So-
you here to 2 studios, right?
Actually,
it can be 2 studios.
2, 4, 5, depending on your needs, depending on your goals, requirements, we can arrange it, customize it. Because we have a lot of cases right now already.
Yeah.
Some customers came and they have been in a lot of studios, and the studios couldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And we handled it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing. One last thing, which is very important. I see that you actually support first-timers. When I say this, why? Because you have a lot of interesting offers.
Yeah.
It's changed all the time.
Yeah.
But this is something like that I appreciate a lot, especially for the ones that they don't know how to spend their money on a podcast.
Yeah.
So I feel that they just have to contact you.
Yeah.
Send you a message on Instagram.
Yes, on Instagram,
And-
WhatsApp, doesn't matter.
And they will get back to them.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot.
Sure.
And it's funny you say this because in Islam it's also, it's a moment to stop. And life becomes, you know,
I mean,
no materiality.
I
And then you
know.
go, this is the whole idea. And many would think about praying as something different than, but all prayers, all kind of prayers in all
They all
religion
go up.
is that idea. If you pray, and they say in any religion, if you pray and you don't disconnect, then there's no spiritual
there's
journey.
no point.
There's no
And
point.
this is a very good point. And this is something I was very curious about when I left. And one of the most beautiful things for me living in Dubai is when you see that moment where you see usually a gentleman who stops in his day, in his work, and puts out his rug and taking the time to commune with, you know, who he's connected with. I am taken aback every single time I see this. And I have made a decision. I want to respect all people and all religions and all beliefs. And this is actually not the way I was raised. So this is something I came to on my own, which is quite big,
Of course.
coming from where I came from. But this is something that I treasure in my life. Is
The ability.
the ability and the openness.
Yeah.
And we're getting more and more away from that.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why there's so many issues
Absolutely.
in the world today. And that's why I love the chance when I meet someone like you. And Dubai has, I think it's over 200 cultures here
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
I mean, what an opportunity. I mean, it's saying to anyone that's watching this, if you haven't taken the opportunity to start to get to know your neighbor or
Absolutely.
those around you here,
Yeah.
what an opportunity we have here to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, this is something you say, it's very nice because I love of course, everyone, I can have an opinion growing up in Kuwait, but then, you know, I left when I was younger. But honestly, I loved being in Europe and, you know, the many years I've lived there, half of my life almost.
Yeah.
But I still remember, I always felt that in our region here, we were more open to one another in a way that I remember in France, I always say in France, I learned about human rights,
Yes.
but I also learned about racism.
Yeah.
And I never knew that. When I arrived
Isn't
to
that
France,
interesting?
yeah, when growing up, I never saw people that they were Asian or black or white, or because also every
Right.
family in Kuwait is married to a completely different skin color background.
Right.
So going to school, I had friends that they were, you know, from African background,
Yeah.
Persian,
Okay. Yes.
Levant. So my mother is Lebanese, Palestine, and then we had also those who were, you know, kids from an Asian mother. So all of this, I never thought like
Anything
this,
was
you know,
strange or different.
and then but then I didn't know, you know, I wanted to learn more but when I went to Europe, I loved how I learned about everyone has a voice and should have a voice.
Yeah.
But also in the same time, I was so surprised when I saw people asking me about my color and where I come from, and you should be doing this and that. I was like, that's completely new.
Yeah.
This,
Sometimes
this
it's
narrative,
surprising.
yeah, this narrative of
Yeah.
I have to act upon my look,
Yes.
but in the same time, I was learning how to be anything I want. So how, you know? But I know you relate to
I
that.
completely get it.
And this is one of
Yeah.
the things here that I like, is like almost everyone is transparent when it comes to color and background, and then other things come
Yeah.
in the picture.
Yeah.
I can stay for days and days speaking to you, know that, right?
So it's the same way.
To lighten up, so as a model, did you have a dream to work with a designer that you haven't got the chance to work with? Like if you were Like you say, okay, I want to wear that designer?
You know, you always want to wear, I would say Yves Saint Laurent. If I were to, he is my, it wasn't, I got to work with some great Japanese designers, but oh, if there's one thing I missed, it was working with Yves Saint Laurent. He's my favorite designer.
Amazing.
Yes, I love his story. I love his design. So it would probably be him. But the person that I enjoyed working with the most in Japan or meeting would be Shu Uemura,
Okay.
who was he created the makeup line. He's passed away, but every time I had a casting with him, and he was a huge star and such a pioneer in what he did with cosmetics and colors in particular. He was the most humble, kind man, and he took time with every single girl he met,
Amazing.
which would take forever, when you have
course.
castings. And he would smile and politely look at your book and then look at you. So it was none of this going through your book and then, throwing it back at you. He left such an impression on me. And I got to do one shoot where actually through the training school that he had, where one of his students did a creation on me, but he stands out in my mind. The people that stand out in your mind are the people that were kind,
Yeah.
the people that took time, the people that listened to you. Because when you're younger and you're maybe a little bit insecure and trying to get jobs, you really remember these people.
Of course. And what message do you advise for younger models today? Like from your own experience, because we always say now, we discovered that our generation could give really wisdom for the younger one because they lack of direction.
Well, I always give the same advice that I've worked training models before, going back 25 years, but I always say know yourself, know thyself, know who you are, because the more you know who you are, the less likely you are to fall into anything. And, now I really feel for young models starting out with social media.
The judgment. And
The judgment
the competition.
and the competition, but there was always competition. But everything changes so quickly now.
Yeah.
And the pressure, because everyone's on their phone now.
And everyone uses already like filters and stuff. So it's a tool, but also it can be a really double sword, isn't it?
Yes, I really respect when I see a model who's standing in her own or his own, even to show their, I don't want to say faults, but maybe something quirky about them or different. And goes for women my age also. I really admire women who are trying to age gracefully without doing too much.
Which is something fantastic. I wanted to ask you this. Modeling always it's almost like a diet a la mode. No, so we had the past few years. I don't know, from a model, right, who lived through it all. What do you think of we had a phase of diversity, because like diversity,
Right.
and so we had all body sizes, all color skin, all backgrounds, all orientations, right?
Exactly.
On the catwalk. That was right after there was a big issue about model size, right?
Yes.
So I felt that they tried to also politically, America and the world was changing. So they said, okay, now let's be inclusive.
Yes.
What do you think of this, and where is it now? Because we are now living the last few days of Fashion Fashion Week season.
Yes.
And I've seen the model. I just noticed yesterday they all went back to size 0.
I'm so glad you brought this up. I am so glad you brought this up because when I was ending my career, I actually moved to Paris, oddly enough, and I tried working there a little bit. It worked a little bit, but I was trying to work in Paris at age 42. So, but I've done everything backwards in life. So anyway, I decided, well, how do I transition from modeling to doing something else? And I decided to become a model manager. So this was 14 years ago. And I scouted a girl from my hometown who was what you would call a curve model.
Yeah.
And I felt at the time there was going to be a trend I could foresee it, of curve models. And she and I had a great career together for 7 years,
nice.
and I managed her. I just saw her recently. She now lives in London. Like me, she went from Nashville, now is
Incredible.
married to a South African, lives in
Oh, wow.
London. And I have such an issue with what's happening right now.
Can you imagine?
And because I never, knock on wood, had an eating disorder, but I can see how quickly someone could slip into that.
Yeah.
And I don't like to pass judgment on people if they want to alter something or change something about themselves they don't like. Everyone go do what you feel. But I think there's a dangerous trend right now because there's so many people are using Ozempic or
Yeah, so
Mounjaro. Someone said to me recently, a mom in Dubai said, well, everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
I really want to do it. But
There's this thing now. Everyone is doing it.
everyone's
right?
doing it. I remember my parents saying to me in the 80s, there was a drug crisis in the 80s, in the U.S. And so they inundated us with...
Especially with art, the art scene.
Yeah,
and,
so they inundated us with a...
it was glamorous also.
Yes.
It was this
But then, there was an anti-drug campaign, and it was don't do drugs, don't do drugs, don't do drugs. And I remember my parents always saying to me, you don't do things just because other people are doing them. So it still rings in my head.
Yeah.
And, I weigh, I don't know, 20, 25 pounds more than I did when I modeled.
Yeah.
I have no Botox, no fillers right now. I'm aging. This is a normal
You look amazing.
process.
I can't. I know your real age, and I
thank you.
And you look. You look 15
Thank
years
you.
younger.
Thank you.
But it's. I know how holistic also with the way you treat your skin.
I'm also
I know that.
big into health, but most importantly, I remember a model who was older than me, a former model, saying, and I'll never forget it, it's not just about modeling, but it's a lesson for all of us. One of the biggest lessons in life is moving gracefully from one phase to another.
Oh yeah, that's
Because
even
it's
nicer than
coming.
age. It's phase maybe, but it's a
Yeah.
way. It's a beautiful way of putting it.
Because they're coming. You can't, it's like let go or be dragged.
Yeah.
It's all coming. So when you start a dangerous trend with your health, when you're very young, this is going to have implications for you when you're older. And you don't think about that when you're in your 20s. So I believe I think of it more from, of course, someone's mental, spiritual health, but also their physical health. You don't know we don't know really the long-term consequences of these drugs.
Yeah.
We know the long-term
Oh, yeah,
consequences of eating disorders, and it's not good.
Absolutely.
So this to me, there are things every day I would like to change. Of course, every day I would like to change, but I also realize I had my time.
Yeah.
I had my time. I had my time when it was easy and fun. Life is not, there's actually going back to beliefs. There's a place in the Bible that says there's a time for everything.
Yeah.
In life.
Absolutely. It's very difficult to accept it sometimes.
It's hard
Very
for all
because
of us.
many live with the with the fear of missing out.
Yes, we all do.
And so you don't know if the phase I'm in can make up for the things I've missed.
Absolutely.
And I think this is a big issue. Like we have to say, okay, you know what? It's messed up, but maybe this phase has other things. But sometimes we forget that each phase has also many fantastic things that you can enjoy.
For me, this is the biggest takeaway is we're not here to be perfect. That's a phrase in the movie Gia. I don't know if you know.
Oh, yeah.
Gia was one of the first supermodels. A lot of people don't know about her. And
the troubled
girl.
Phase of, yeah.
And Scavullo said that to her. Scavullo was a very famous fashion photographer, huge in the 80s in New York. And he said to her one day, Gia, I forget, I can't quote it perfectly, but this is Earth. You don't have to be perfect here.
Yeah.
And we don't get this message at all these days. So anyone that is giving this message that I see, I just sort of cling to them because I need more people like that, anchors, to keep me stable, because we all can, slide off.
Which is fine. Sometimes
sometimes it happens, but we want to get back on and not hurt ourselves.
That's wonderful.
We don't want to hurt ourselves.
No.
Yeah.
I think if we put this as a priority, it's things can get better.
Yeah.
I want to show you something, so we will see it on the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh no.
How are you? Wow, we just
breezed through.
We just went through. We didn't stop, by the way. At least. What?
Okay.
No, I'm going to show you. So this is, I'm going to show you a picture, and that will show on the screen, right?
Okay.
Where is it? Okay.
What do you have?
So. Okay. So tell me about this girl, and what would you like to tell her now if you were with her during that moment?
So that was my very first headshot, professional headshot. I was 17 in that picture. I'm going to say something that might really surprise you. I would tell her, you're right.
Okay.
What you're feeling, your intuition, it's right. Follow your gut.
That's nice.
Don't listen too much to other people. Follow your heart. You were actually right. And it took me a long time to be okay with saying that to myself. No, it's okay. You're right.
Nice.
Instead of always assuming someone else knew better, I actually knew at that age what was right for me, what I wanted. So I would tell her, trust your gut, go for it, and have fun and relax.
I want to tell you that this has been an honor.
Oh, thank you.
It's actually an honor from like a spiritual level that you have appeared in my life.
Oh, thank you.
And you said many things that I wanted to say. Yes, I know. It's being thankful and being kind and being, receptive of things, and you have added a lot into my life for the past few years.
Oh,
I'm so grateful
for me.
I'm so grateful. And today, you being here and opening up with me, and probably many others will, is something I appreciate, and I'm so grateful, and I'm thankful, and I would be forever thankful. Thank you so much. We can go on, and maybe this is just a first from many others.
Maybe.
Right? I always say it's not you're not my guest, you're my co-host.
I know. I don't know why you say that.
You're a co-host because
no,
because
this
I
is
am
your thing.
yeah,
I'm
because
your
I love
guest.
it. I love that, because of the freedom you share is far more important than the questions I asked.
No, that's not true. And I have a journalism background, so I know that's not
It's true.
true.
You have to give me that, some tips.
No. The questions are important. You bring out the best in people, I think. And I think people feel very comfortable speaking with you because you are very transparent. So for me, this is such a nice opportunity. My life now is a little more quiet and composed since my days in modeling. So I'm not in front of the camera anymore. I'm not out speaking anymore. I'm not trying to be an influencer or anything. But this is such a beautiful opportunity, and thank you for letting me be myself.
Thank you.
And that's a huge gift when you know someone where you feel like I can be myself.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching or listening to Talkative with Ahmed, and I will see you next time.